This is Rolling with Buranator. So today we are joined by Itumeleng Phalatse. So today we're going to be talking about his journey, his career journey, basically from the beginning to where he is right now. He's going to share his stories, like the ups and downs, the ins and outs, and also just to show that this life is not perfect, just because you see someone where they are right now doesn't mean that it's always been like that. There's things that they had to go through for them to be where they are today. So that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today.
No, we can order.
We are ordering. Okay. Itu, welcome to the show, man. Thank you so much for coming through. Man, a lot of people were figile. I've interviewed them. We had chats about the careers, what, and then you're like, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
I'm not ready. I'm waiting for the right time. Why is this the right time?
Let me just say there was some growing I needed to do. And also, you know how passionate I am about the youth, like graduates.
Yeah.
Geo graduates.
Yeah, I know.
So the plight of unemployed geologists, I've sort of taken it and put it on my shoulders. So, and I know very well people are very perceptive, right? So at that time, had I came through and made an interview, what kind of impact would I have had?
Get you. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought about it. I was like, okay, there's a lot of gems you can share with people, but fix yourself first before you help others.
Hear you. Yeah. So let's start from the beginning, man. Where you from? What high school did you go to? From there, you went to varsity. That journey, what happened?
Yeah, so I was born in Mokhwas. Mokhwas is about a 15-minute drive from. It's a 15 minutes drive from Sunset. That's the argument I always have with you.
Yeah.
You may start mentioning something that you're trying to. And then I get over
Okay.
But for point of reference, usually people would say, no, it's Rustenburg.
Oh, yeah, Rustenburg.
Because that's the closest sort of.
Yeah, you are from Rustenburg, yeah.
No, so Mokhwas. Okay. Let's not argue this. So, yeah.
Sure.
So Mokhwas, I was born there, schooled there. And funny enough, I went to one school my whole life. Like
from primary to high school?
Primary to high school.
Heck.
One school, Holy Family primary, Holy Family combined school. In Mokhwas, yeah, I started there. It's a Catholic school. Changed when I got to high school. The government was more involved. But my mom's Catholic, so naturally I went to a Catholic school. By fire, by force. You know what I mean?
Hello?
All right. Okay, let me just ask you a question. Okay, so let's take it back to varsity, right? You from high school, you chose geology, you got to varsity. What are the challenges that you're facing currently?
At varsity, I think varsity level, the issues were pretty complex. So I went to your campus, Northwest University. Firstly, culture. Culture is the biggest thing. It's a culture shock, sort of. You move to a very predominantly Afrikaans institution. But like everything in life, you have to adapt, adjust. So it was the language barrier initially.
And I'm still gonna do a video about that.
Yeah, but you must call me for that one because I think I've used DIFA there.
Exactly. Sorry, I'm
because for me it's more about you need to embrace. You
You're in a new environment. Instead of learning, it's gonna be a terrible time for you if you choose to be angry or against the learning that you can do. You know. So for me, it's always let me absorb what I can about other cultures, mostly through food because I love food. You know this for a fact. So let's see what you guys are eating. Like, do you eat like us or what? Or do you speak like us? What's going on? You know.
So did you understand, since it's an Afrikaans institution, do you know Afrikaans?
Oh yes.
Now yes. So back then you didn't.
Back then it was rough. Back then it was rough. Yeah, no, I struggled. Earlier on, you need to remember in the hood, your Afrikaans teacher is like you know. So the adjustment took a little bit. I did Afrikaans in high school, so there was background knowledge, but I couldn't speak it, maybe not as well as I do now. But I had to learn. I got to a point where I was like, what am I going to do? You know, there's translation or whatever, but because of the person I am, I was just like, firstly I stayed in res. Let's start there. You know, I stayed in res, so I stayed with the brews. If you stay with the brews, you want to embrace the culture, you want to learn the culture, you want to see what's going on, and you see things you like in the culture, you know. And there's a couple guys that I was really close with who helped me sort of brush up my language. So, yeah.
We're not gonna dwell into that, but what I want to understand is, did you ever feel moments where you regretted, no, not the university, but the course itself, geology? Regretted, flip, I should have chosen something else.
Yeah.
You know, I often think to myself, geology has put me through a lot. I've been through the trenches with geology, but stuck with it. And
why? Why did you stick with it?
I don't want to say it's passion or what, like those cliche answers, but for me it was, I started something. I need to finish this thing. And I need to see it through to where I saw myself. Because you start, you're on a bursary. I was with Anglo Coal in first year until my final year. So I had already seen myself somewhere. There was that image that was there. So I felt I need to see this through. Even when things were not going well, whether it's during course or after course. And also you look home. I often said, sometimes you look at your mother and you feel like you'd want to cry. Because you know the sacrifices that they've made to so that you go and pursue whatever you pursue. So for me, I was never going to give up. That's not who I am. And also, I wanted to see it through, man. I don't know. There's just this fixation to say, I want to see it through and I want to see if I can't try and be the best. Because I'm very competitive. Yeah.
Cool. And then now you graduate, right?
Yeah.
On record time?
Hi. Hey, man.
Okay, so what pressure comes with that? Not being able to graduate in record time. What pressure comes with that?
Physical chemistry. Final year. That's the pressure, that's what it's called. So, yeah, but had a stumble with that one. The pressure that comes with it is, if you are, like, there's this thing with highly ambitious people. I beat myself up 15,000 times before you criticize me. That's why I don't do well with criticism. I bash myself 15,000 times before you can even say anything about me. That's why it's very difficult for me to listen to anyone. So by the time I need to break the news to my parents and anyone or whatever, just as I've already cried on my pillow 15,000 times and I was screaming, you know. I go and speak to my parents and say, hey, wait.
And aren't you under a bursary at that time?
I'm under a bursary at the time. So, you know. Luckily, one module. If it was 2, 3, 4, was gonna be issues. You know, but at the end of the day, you have to go and do it again. But yeah, so the pressure is letting yourself down first, and then it goes to my parents. The rest of the world, not that much. I really ask Isham.
And then, sharp, eventually you graduate with a degree. And then what?
And then now it's a matter of, hey, you can't be a geo without honors.
Yeah.
You know? So you need to fight for a place, for honors, marks and what. And then things don't go your way, you know? If things don't go your way, you're like, you know what? What do we do? Well, because there's a lot of geos I know who got to that point. You have your degree, but honors qualification at your institution. Because not many of us think about applying to other institutions for honors. You try yours, and when it doesn't work out, it's like, hey, manji. So for me, it was that. Go back home, and then start rebuilding. You cry for 2-3 months. You can't cry forever, Chief. Can't allow myself to sit and...
Because you had already told yourself, next year honors.
You see? And then you get disappointed. Yeah. So, it hits you, but can't hit you for long. That's one thing my dad always tells me. Don't cry. Mara, at some point you must do something. And the one thing I've learned is that in anything negative that comes through, you need to be able to try your level best to try and see what positive that could come out of that. It's difficult. But I speak about it with so much passion because no one can tell me what. I've been there. I've been you watching. I've been you. Grad, no one has, what do I do? I've been there. So you can't question me when I say try and see the positive in it. Do you know what I mean? So I then say, okay, I've got my degree. Let's see what I can do with it. So you try. I remember there's a company that gave me an internship, but 3,000. That's the other thing. You need to know your worth sometimes also. 3,000. But it was going back to hustling and trying to see what I can do next. The next step was that very year, that's actually when I went to teach. Yeah, that's actually when I went to teach. Yeah, I went to teach at a high school, a no-fee school. So, and one day in my book, I'll speak about how that journey changed my whole life. As a geo with just a PSC, I had to go back and restart. So I went back home, and I'm not one to just sit. Like I said, you cry for a bit, but the people I look up to and the people who advise me have always said, don't cry too long, son. Don't find yourself in that situation. So I managed to get an opportunity to teach at a high school and no fee school. I think that's a very important part to put in there because an experience like that is it's a profound experience because to see how kids are living out there and the ability to take yourself and put yourself in their position to say, you see them, you were that person, you know, you were that kid with ambitions and dreams. Now you are looking down on yourself because you just have a BSc and you're not getting job offers and whatever, but at least you've crossed one milestone, you know. So I went there, and the aim was not only to just get a job, it was always to find a way to get myself to fund and go back to school.
So you're getting a salary then?
Yeah, no, it was nice, nice, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, but then you were not, at that point, you were not comparing yourselves to your other peers to say, I could have been in this level.
No, you get it. It happens. Especially if you are highly competitive, highly ambitious, I want. That's where God takes you and sits you down. I'm trying to relax, because you do compare yourself. You look at your peers, you look at your friends, you look at people around you. Ish, why not me? Like, why am I going through these trials? But support system is important. You have people around you, but also the things you tell yourself now, because my peers, I knew I was with them. We've been on the same level. We're starting to get. At no point did I now become nonsense just because I didn't get a job. No, So it was, I know I can be on the same level as the guys who are there. Maybe it's just not my time now. Oh, well. You beat yourself up, but like I said, just try and twist your thinking to that more positive type positive self-talk, let's call it that.
Yeah. And then, okay, sharp. And then after the whole teaching career, did you manage to go back to do honors?
Yeah. So it goes to decisions now, no? Now think about it. You're teaching. It's a mind-blowing experience, changing lives at that point. Remember, before then, varsity and everything, it was always about me. About me, I'm gonna build this career, I'm going to buy this. Hey, 135. Now you're humbled, you're back down to earth. It's like I see myself through other people now. You're developing empathy. So in that, I then decided to say, okay, I need to start looking back at enhancing my education. But to do that, I need to use the money I'm getting now in this teaching job, but also keep an eye out for any opportunities that may be there within my field, geo. And then I get an opportunity. Okay, I see a post, lab technician, back at my university, Northwest University. I'm like, but this I can do, I can do this. I know the people. Let me reach out to them and say, I saw a post. Can I apply? Yeah. You see? And even when you look at it, like, it goes back to something my mentor, my coach Lauren, really instilled in me, that sometimes you feel like you don't qualify for a certain thing, right? But you discard some of the experiences that you had that actually put you or prepare you for something like that. So I looked at it, I was like, hey, maybe I don't qualify. But then again, I have a BSc, man, let me just try. Because my whole thing, I was not going to go there and be a lab technician forever. It was, I need to improve my academics, my school, my papers, so that this geology thing can work out eventually. See what I mean? So, applied for that, lucky enough to get that job. That was a year into my teaching. And getting that, like, it's life. So God gives you certain things. You know what God does in that instance? This man, I've been getting a nice and a comfy salary. I've been staying at home. All the money I'm traveling. This man gives me this opportunity to go back to varsity, leave home, and actually go and do the things I want to do. Yeah. But then with a lower salary. So decisions again. Do you take it or what? But at the point, it's a no-brainer. I need to go there. From any institution of learning, of higher learning, I can improve my qualifications, and I can eventually go back to where I want to be, which is mine. Yeah.
So yeah, that's.
And then you from there you enrolled into honors.
I enrolled into honors as a lab technician.
As a lab technician at the same time.
At the same time.
Double.
Amen. Amen. You gotta fight.
Hectic. And this is something that you never imagined would work out like that.
I never saw it for myself. In my mind, I was going to be a geo somewhere in mind, living my best life. Yeah.
Your mental health, where is it at now during this whole thing?
So I'll tell you this. my mental health took a big knock after I graduated, and I started trying to rebuild it maybe later that year after I graduated, where I found myself in a position where, I don't know, so last year I started seeing a psychologist, right? And she said there's something called post-traumatic growth, right? And when I look back, this thing was active somewhere. I didn't know what it was, but there was just this thing of me, I'm going to bounce back, Chief. So my will but that feeling I had of, I need to bounce back. Can't afford to, this is it. No. So that will sort of took me away from the negative thoughts. They were there. I was depressed, sleeping, didn't want to talk to anyone, you don't want to go anywhere. Fine. But then again, I have people around me who've had experiences where you have a friend or two who they've been where you were. They were unemployed for some time, got the job, gone. So this thing is possible in this. So seeing that also gives you the confidence to say, okay, nah, man.
So now after graduating, for your honors.
After honors, so the honors journey is very important, because there I was a lab technician, like I said.
Yeah.
I started reading more.
Okay.
Like I said, I had a profound experience teaching. Yeah. I learned empathy. So it was no longer about myself. Yeah. It was more about, what can I do in the world to make it better in a way, because I've seen how some of our kids are living. So I started reading more. I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and of people I look up to, or if it's a self-help thing, but personal development became a thing for me, because there's a couple of my friends, I remember we had a WhatsApp group, and they thought the first book, they tried to make a book club sort of thing, but they opened a WhatsApp group, and this is around the time I was still sort of completing that honors program. And with these guys, and all of them successful guys in mining, I was the only person who was just like, and that's the other thing, the people you surround yourself with. Here I am, I'm with 3 guys that are good friends of mine. They're doing very well in industry, in mining. I'm outside, I'm looking in, but I see myself there eventually. So in that time, they're the ones who gave me that confidence to say, man, these guys believe in me this much, and I believe in myself this. I know sometime something must give. But in that whole situation, I thought, let me get my mind right. My skills, I'm working on my honors, that's fine. But let me get my mind right as well. Read more, these personal development books. I know it's cliche. People have an attitude towards some of these books. I won't even mention the name, but there's one particular book that changed my life that we started reading in that book club I just mentioned. Started reading that book, and it's just about your thinking. When they start saying thoughts become things, those kind of you Instagram people like captions. Wow. So I started reading more about that and how manifesting things, and whether it's positive or negative, it started changing my whole view of life, because I realized if I wasn't going to be able to be happy where I was, I considered that I was at the bottom. So if I wasn't going to be able to find a piece of happiness there, in the bottom, no amount of money or position was going to change that. And it's in learning that it changed my whole thing. I started enjoying where I was. School, I was a bubbly person in class. School, I started enjoying the work. I was a lab technician, nothing fancy. Started enjoying it. Started enjoying my sort of like interacting with people, and I started enjoying having time with myself. Because when you're going through the most, even being alone, you want to be alone, but it's just like your thoughts are always running in the negative direction. So changing my mindset then helped a lot. I don't know if that answers your question.
I hear you, man. I hear you. And then you were a lab technician, doing your honors, you graduated. Then what?
Then, oh yeah, that was your question. So I was rambling again. But yeah, so once I got my honors, it's like, as a lab technician, a part of growing yourself here is understanding that wherever you are, it's not for chance. So I also put my best in there. So no, let me do my best. Let me show these people I can actually be more than just a lab technician. I started giving class where there was gaps there. Maybe there's a lecturer who's, just lend a hand, do the extra, go extra mile here and there. And people recognize when you go the extra mile. And luckily, I had people who I was reporting to who believed in me. And they felt, no man, you can actually come through and lecture. You can actually do this.
Can actually give you a permanent position.
Yeah, because for me it was always, let me get another skill, okay? Let me speak publicly. Let's see if I can. I'm in an institution of higher learning. The next natural progression is to, what are you going to do? No, let me go and teach.
Yeah.
See what I mean? Leave the lab and go and teach.
Yeah.
But also, there's that dream that's still here.
Yeah.
And even that one is not dying.
Yeah.
I'm attending courses, GSSA courses, I'm attending courses online, just to sharpen the geo sword. And the nice personal development for me, every year you need to have a couple of milestones you're ticking off that you're developing in your skill, in yourself, and in your life in general.
So basically now you're a lecturer.
At that point,
At that time, yeah.
Yeah, a couple months later, I'm appointed as a junior lecturer there, because of the extra initiative and just putting your best foot forward. And that's also something I didn't see myself.
Yeah, you never saw it coming. So now you're a junior lecturer for geology. Do you see yourselves? Do you see yourself in those kids?
Yes. I mean, Joe, there's something about seeing, and maybe that's what God wanted me to see. But there's something about seeing kids and being able to see yourself through their eyes. I see these kids and I was once there, panicking about the language barrier, panicking about the environment, but in that whole situation having big dreams. And you see that in them, and you want to give your best of yourself to them, but also you want to make them feel comfortable. My biggest thing was I want kids to come to class and just have a breather, yeah. And also it's a matter of representation. When I started there was no Mr. Itumeleng that I can look up to. It was just people from other demographics. So to be someone who can, in that environment, kids can look at it and say, yo, say, as soon as I saw you, like kids would say, as soon as I saw you, something just, Yeah, so that was also a very great experience. Great experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
And then okay, and then lastly, you are a junior lecturer sharp for geology, and then what? What happens?
No, once I start, not once I start, couple months into junior lectureship, you don't relax. Can never relax. So I continue with my whole personal development thing. Get a psychologist, work on my mental, start seeing a psychologist, and then I got myself a career coach maybe a year later. But those two go together to say personal development is not just get a course, get another certificate. No. Develop this. This is your biggest tool, so develop that. So got myself a psychologist, career coach, and then started to look at my dream more clearly. And that's around the time I also registered for my masters as well. When you've been at the bottom, when you've been at the bottom, you need to use that energy wisely. So at that point, I was doing everything and anything to just better myself. I just felt I'd rather make myself undeniable. If I'm gonna work into your organization, you must ask yourself, where have you been? You know, not talking myself up or anything, but just saying, I need to amass as much training in myself and invest in myself as possible to say, wherever I can go, there'll be some little value I can give you. So that was my mentor there. And yeah, my biggest passion is unemployed geos, bro. Or any unemployed graduate, but particularly geologists, to say personal development. I know there's no margin, there's no what, but personal development is not only going on courses. There's also an element of expose yourself to situations. Go and volunteer somewhere. Go and do something. Go volunteer at your church even, or whatever. Right? Develop skills. Develop interpersonal skills, and also develop some mental skills. I don't know what, but to put yourself in a position where you start becoming a well-rounded individual, because those are the things you're going to start using in interviews. For example, kids are very worried about interviews because I don't have the experience. What am I going to say? But you've done this, you've volunteered there. You know, I taught at the high school. I never planned to be a teacher. So yeah, so I just wanted to put that there. But where I am right now, I am a resource geologist for a gold mining company.
So what exactly does a resource geologist do?
No, so
On a normal day.
okay. So resource geology, from my understanding, and what I do on a daily basis varies from operation to operation for other people, right? Depending on commodity, scale, whatever, right? But essentially, what we're doing is that your resource model and the statistics that go along with creating it, updating it, and making estimations from it is essentially what we assigned to do. Now, there's a huge, like if you look at a resource model of whatever commodity you're doing, there's data that must go into it, right? Now, that's why when you asked me, hey, resource geology, it's broad. So, acquiring the data for your resource model, you're mining fine. Let's say you're mining this cup. Everything that's in cup, this is your ore board. But obviously you don't know the quantities that are in here. So those are the calculations we make to check how much of this gold or platinum or whatever is there, and how much can we extract in a viable manner to make profit. And then you also report on how much you have left after you've mined, your reserves. So your resource, reserved. On a daily, data acquisition. Why? The sampling that happens for us to update this thing. Oh, what?
So in that shell, that's what a resource geologist does.
There's still more. There's JSE, there's reporting.
It's a lot. No.
Fine. A resource geologist, we're gonna simplify it for the kids, right? The resource is what we are mining, whatever commodity we are mining. We need to know how much we have of it, so there's calculations that go into that. We need to know how much we can extract viably for a profit, right? We also need to know how much we have in total versus what we have taken before, so that in future we can say, okay, our mine is going to last this long because we're going to mine for this long.
That's where life of mine comes in.
Yeah, but you see, that must be simple. Right? So we need to know how much we have left of this is a piece of cake, we're chipping at it. How much do we have of it? How much can we still extract further and profitably, right? And then there's the whole thing of for us to make these calculations, there's data that we need to gather. The data is gathered by samplers, by drilling, by geologists on the structure side, logging their boreholes and whatever, right? So all this information, as a resource geologist, bring together, you create what is called a block model or resource model. And then there's a number of geostatistics that go into it in order for you to estimate, because obviously the whole body, to know the extents and the volumes that are there, it's a difficult process. So you have to estimate. You can't go physically and measure the whole thing. That's why we have our sampling, that's why we have our drilling, that's why we have all these data gathering exercises. So big part. I know data analysis is a big thing right now. If you look at where where the world is going. So if you look at data analysis, essentially is what we are also doing, because you need to make sure you have clean, credible data, so that your resource model or your estimations can be accurate. Accuracy, precision. And then we also look at QAQC, quality control. When you are gathering your data, when you are assaying your data in the lab, check on that. Make sure we have quality data that's coming in, so that your estimations here, when you start now, there's investors and what at a higher level, they need to say, okay, this is credible data. You know what I mean? So yeah, simply put, for the young ones, there's more. You can find me on LinkedIn. I can explain, but essentially, bring in quality data, make quality estimations, give people good projections of where your reserve is.
Nah, I'm gonna wrap it up. Right now. I have a lot of questions to ask you. That will be part 2, where I'm asking about where you see the future of geologists, where you see the career, the geology career in South Africa, where you see technology, where you see, like you were talking about, data analysis, and also entrepreneurship also involved in that, and also unemployment, and also if geology should people still study geology? That's another one. But that will be for part 2. That'll be for part 2. But yeah, thank you so much. And I think during this interview, this talk, this conversation, you threw a lot of gems, a lot of advices in between. So yeah, thank you so much, man.
Parting words, nothing. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. No, it's beautiful.
Threw in gems inside.
I want the parting word. Yeah, parting words. One, for if at any point the experienced guys are watching this, believe in the young geos, invest in them. There's people in my life who've given me opportunities and believed that I could, and that's what I'm trying to do for others. Hopefully I'll be able to do it. But for the experienced guys, please believe in the kids, provide assistance, and if there's an opportunity, give the kids. Another thing for the kids, develop yourself, become a lifelong learner. Don't stop. Can never stop. Don't give life a chance, because life will throw things at you. Don't give it a chance to keep you down. Right? There's always a way, man. There's always a way. And then your comment about geos, I'm not going to leave it.
Leave it for part 2.
No.
Leave it for part 2. Leave curiosity.
Curiosity.
Yeah, leave it for curiosity.
As far as good, thanks for having me.
So make sure you come through for part 2, so that you can. And if you have any questions, please do leave them on the comment section. If there's anything that you didn't understand on this video, or you need more clarity of, just leave it on the comment section. Part 2, we'll be answering those questions and my questions that I have.
I'll answer when I have time.
Bye.